Good afternoon. I'm Lisa Olson, member of OPPD's Senior Management Team and Vice President of Public Affairs. Thank you for joining us for today. I know it's been a busy 12 hours at least. We're so grateful for the support and partnership today in helping us to share with our customers our progress as we continue to restore power from the hurricane force winds we experienced early this morning. Hurricane winds of 90 miles per hour. That's historic for us. We'll be sharing a brief update today on the status of our restoration efforts, our approach to restoration, and our commitment to keeping our customers and our community powered. Let me begin with the safety briefing. At OPPD, we are a safety organization. Given today's events, I'd like to remind everybody in this room as well as out in the public and online of the top concerns at the moment. If you see a down wire, please do not approach it, even if it appears to be de-energized or is on the ground. Assume it is always energized. Let me repeat that. Assume it's always energized. You can report down wires on OPPD.com via our app or at 1-800-554-6773. Today's event is being live streamed and recorded for the public as well as for the media. A link to this event is available at OPPD.com. Please note that we have invited the media to attend this conference in person, and thank you so much. I know it's been an extremely exhausting day for you all as well. So thank you for all the coverage that you've done and making it personal for everybody. We do a safety briefing as our Chair Bogner and our CEO and President Fernandez will be doing, is that we have a safety briefing in this room. There are several exits in the room, 2 doors in the back of the auditorium or the 2 doors in the front of the auditorium are exits as well. We would exit on the 16th Street side of the building. When using the stairs, please remember to use a 3-point touch. 2 feet on the ground and 1 hand on the railing. That's very important. There are also fire extinguishers near the doors in conference room A, which is right outside, and Mr. Clark will be kind enough to help us with that. If you have a medical condition, please write it down or let the people know next to you know. And for you at home, please make sure there's a member of your family or friends, neighbors to let them know if you have a medical condition as well. The AED and first aid kit are on the brick wall in the right of the cafeteria entrance, one on top of each other. Is there anyone in this room that is AED or CPR certified or trained? And at OPPD, that's another item for our employees that many of us, I would say the majority of us, are trained as well. In the event of a fire, please do not use elevators. And Mary Oswald, or a member of OPPD's security team, would you be so kind to call 911 for us? Thank you, Mary. And then in the event of a tornado or a severe weather, we will be directed to a safe area of the building by security, and you can follow members of the OPPD team as well. So with that, I have the pleasure of introducing our new CEO and President, Javier Fernandez. Javier?
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you everyone for being here. First of all, let me say we hope you and your families have been safe and well throughout these morning storms, and also as we continue our repair and restoration work. I'm going to say this a 3rd time. Lisa said it twice. Please be sure to stay away from down power lines. Even if it appears on the ground, please assume it is energized. These are dangerous lines, and sometimes if they're energized, they could be very dangerous. So please stay away from those lines. As a safety-focused organization, I am very happy to report that during our restoration efforts since early this morning, no OPPD employees or contractors have been injured. I am incredibly pleased and happy to report that, and I expect and I hope that this continues throughout the whole restoration effort. Now let me tell you that we're very sorry. We're sorry that many of you have had to go without power for this long. We truly appreciate the role power plays in the lives of all of you. And we know that any outage, let alone of this magnitude, is very difficult. Now let me tell you some encouraging news. OPPD has made and continues to make significant progress, steady progress in our restoration efforts. As of just a few minutes ago, more than 85,000 customers' power has been restored. For context, these numbers surpasses the amount of outages we restored following the 2017 Father's Day tornado, which was about 75,000. We also know that as of just a few minutes ago, we had right under 97,000 customers who are still without power. We know that can feel frustrating, and we also want to be very transparent about it. We want to talk a little bit about the methodical, thoughtful protocol that we follow in restoring power. So when we're first assessing outages and potential restoration, we focus on those institutions that we all rely on, like hospitals and critical infrastructure, wastewater treatment facilities, water treatment facilities. And that is exactly what we did today. Next, we prioritize the work that will restore the power to the most amount of people possible as quickly and safely as possible. Usually, this means restoring power to large locked-out circuits. We do not prioritize based on specific areas or parts of town. Let me emphasize again, we do not prioritize this work based on specific areas or parts of town. We look at the work that we can most quickly and safely restore to the most amount of people on the most safe manner. Work that is the most complex to restore, which has often seen significant damage from downed limbs and debris, takes the most time. This often means that heavily treated areas with overhead power lines have sustained damage are the most complex to restore, and they will take the longest time. Now, just because the work ahead of us is more complex, it doesn't mean that we're letting up. And I do want to note that we are aware of the potential in today's forecast. We already just saw another storm come by about an hour ago, and there's more to come tonight. These could slow down the process and the progress that we are seeing in additional impacts. Now, no matter what, we will continue to work around the clock with plenty of support to restore all outages. All OPPD's crews are out now, along with crews from outside entities, contractors and other utilities whom I am incredibly grateful for their support at aiding in our way. Nearly 300 people working nonstop to restore your power. We are also welcoming even more help tomorrow so we can keep up our momentum and effort. Our crews are out in this weather. They're doing whatever restoration they can safely complete right now. And again, the weather conditions may slow down progress, but it certainly will not stop us. We also want to let customers know that those of you who are without power should be prepared for more days without power. We do anticipate that 2/3 of the customers who were without power from our peak of last night, 2/3 from our peak will be restored by midnight. That is our expectation. Now, those remaining customers without power may not see full restoration for 1 or more days. We will know more as we get a better sense of progress our crews make this evening and tomorrow. We share these out of an abundance of caution and care for your safety. We want customers who may experience a continued outage to be prepared. Now, if you have a medical emergency, please call 911. If you have a medical condition that requires attention, please contact your care provider and make plans with your friends and family. Lastly, I want to thank the women and men who have been working tirelessly since the beginning of this event. This is difficult and often very dangerous work. These are passionate, skilled, and committed individuals restoring your power as quickly and safely as possible. These men and women are moms, dads, sons, and daughters with families who are expecting them to come home safe after working hard to restore the power in your community. And to them, I personally am incredibly grateful, and I know my colleagues share that. And with that, I'm going to pass it on to our board chair, Amanda Bogner.
Thank you, Javier. Thank you to those who are in person here and those customers with power who are able to watch this online. Today's power outage is a difficult one, to be sure. With hurricane-force winds and widespread outages, we know that customers have experienced damage and debris around their homes, and many are still without power. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I want to thank our customers for your grace and generosity that you've shown us. I also want to thank Javier, our leadership team, and all the women and men at OPPD who have been working around the clock to restore power as quickly and safely as possible. The team has experience, and we are grateful for them. Certainly, this is a unique experience, but I speak for the board when I say we have the faith that this special team of men and women will get power restored as quickly and as safely as possible.
I'd also like to take this opportunity we have a few guests here, the special guest here. We have Tom Warren, who's the Omaha's Chief of Staff. We appreciate you coming by. Bob Stubbe, Public Works Director, and he's going to be saying a few words before we open it up for question and answers. And then Carrie Murphy, thank you so much for coming, Carrie. She's the Deputy Chief of Staff and Communications Director. So with that, Mr. Stubbe.
Thank you. So Public Works has definitely been busy today and on a few things. One is traffic signals. Obviously, if the power is not on, they're going to be dark. Once power gets restored, they'll go into a flash mode, and then we'll have to have staff go out and reset those signals. The other thing is that there's a lot of streets that are blocked. I think we've gotten over 200 calls related to that. A lot of that potentially could be duplicate calls, but we've had staff out clearing those. Obviously, you can see by the pictures that if there's a tree limb or a tree that's got a wire in it, we're not going to touch that. So there are some locations where you're still going to see a blocked lane of traffic that we will wait until OPPD gives us a clearance that is acceptable to get into that location. We coordinate very well with OPPD, not only from the standpoint of lines that are de-energized, but also when the power comes back on so they can notify us so that we can respond to those signals. I want to offer some cautionary comments. One is that when it gets darker, the potential is that traffic signals, again, might not be functional. So traveling public has to be careful out there. I was out a few times today and noticed people not treating them as four-way stops. That's the way they should be treated. So all four directions, you should stop. I saw people just going on through the intersections, and obviously that's a situation where accidents can occur. The other thing is that if the power's out, most likely the street lights are out. Once again, there's potential it could be debris on the road, so you need to be cautious in that area also. And then the other thing that we're experiencing is with this heavy rain that we just got this afternoon also, you can see a lot of inlets that are blocked, and so there's a potential where some of the streets might end up being flooded. It'll take a little bit longer to drain those locations, so that'll be work that Public Works will have to do in the future also. Thank you.
Hello, thanks everyone, and thank you, Director Bogner and CEO Fernandez and Mr. Stubbe. I'm Kate Thomas. I'm the Director of Corporate Marketing and Communications, and I see we do have media present today. Thank you so much for continuing to share the progress that we're making and the thoughtful approach that we're taking. We do have time for just a few minutes, and I'll help facilitate that with our team here. I will ask just a couple of things. So one, if you can raise your hand one outlet at a time. We'll take one question per outlet just to make sure that we can rotate and to make sure that we're not being duplicative in any questions. So we'll take just a few moments and go ahead and allow for any questions there may be. Yes, go ahead. I see Channel 7.
How does this compare to other events that you've seen in the past?
Sure. The question is, how does this compare to other events that we've seen in the past? And CEO Fernandez, I know that you spoke about the 2017 tornado that we want to talk about. I don't know if you'd also like to kind of reference any of our other past events and any thoughts there. Sure.
This is large. It is very large. It is one of the largest events that we've had in our history. And of course, right now we're very focused on restoring all the power, and we will get all the statistics and eventually compare these events with others. What I can tell you is not only we're measuring these by the number of customers that have been out, but also the nature of what caused those outages. Back in 2017, we had large transmission infrastructure that went down because of a tornado. So we knew that the restoration was very focused on those on that infrastructure. This event is different, not only in that it left us with more customers out, but the damage is widespread across the service territory. And it's not just a single set of large infrastructure that we have to repair, but it's all sizes in all parts of the territory. So that is why it's going to take us a little longer. And not always will the infrastructure we need to repair is the one that you see on the street. That one is a relatively easy one to see. It's poles and it's wires that are behind homes, that are in alleyways, those that are harder to get access to. Those are going to take a little longer to repair. So that is a big difference between this event and the one that we saw back in 2017.
Yes, go ahead.
I just wondered, do you guys know the specific areas that might be without power for a day or more?
You know, I've been asking my team all day for that answer, and unfortunately, I don't have an answer because the map is showing us today that they're spread across the service territory, partly because of the answer I just gave right now. There's infrastructure that needs to be restored, and it's all over the territory. So I cannot give you a specific neighborhood or crossroad. They're just across the service territory. I would say it is safe to assume, again, that we believe that 2/3 of our customers who were out from the peak of last night should be restored by midnight. But there's still a lot to go. And the other third, we will continue to work all throughout Sunday and well into Monday to get us all restored.
Okay, any other questions? And what I'd also like to add, Javier, just to, your comments too, are that we're, continually updating several outlets. So OPPD.com, our storm and outage site. And as our teams and our crews and those mutual aid utilities that are helping us out understand what the damage looks like and are restoring things, we'll have an even clearer picture of what further restoration efforts will look like. So that becomes clearer as we get out there and complete the work. Yes, go ahead.
Talk about some of the challenges that facing an event so widespread brings.
Sure, go ahead.
Many challenges. Facing an event so widespread means getting as much help as we can as early as we can. Not knowing exactly the condition of the damage require us to bring help from outside of the organization, from other utilities in Nebraska, and even outside of the state as soon as possible. And those efforts earlier on, and we started with those efforts early this morning, are paying off really well. Because the more time that passes, the better understanding we have of the amount of work that we have going on. And so having those crews already here helping us and having more of those crews coming in tomorrow morning will help significantly. Many other challenges. I talked about our communication with critical infrastructure. Very early on in the outages, we had to get a hold of a hospital and medical care facilities, public works, wastewater, and the like. And so those are challenges because as we are restoring power, we want to make sure that we're restoring power to those most critical, essential functions so that our customer owners who also use those other services experience the least amount of disruption. But yeah, it has been a gigantic effort coordinating across the service territory, rural and urban alike. But I am very, very proud of the OPPD workforce. We have been training for this moment, and we are performing exceptionally well.
Would you like to comment from the city standpoint there? Thank you.
Yeah, we've also obviously have experienced major issues in the past. 2017, the tornado that Javier was talking about, that was a tornado that did a lot of damage down at our Papillion Creek wastewater recovery facility. So, and we've had other storms like this that have impacted the area. And there's a significant amount of effort that's taken place. I think one of the things I want to mention with regard to what the city's doing, the Parks Department is actively. I think they've opened up 6 sites so citizens have the ability to take materials to those 6 locations, kind of spread around through the metro area. They should be open until dusk and then open up in the morning again tomorrow. And I think that's supposed to run until Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. So we encourage people to take the materials there and drop them off, and we'll get them processed after the site's closed.
All right, and did I see one more question here, Channel 6?
Did I hear correctly that you're pretty new to this position, right? This is about 10 days for you? How does it make you feel that you've had one of the biggest events that OPPD has seen so new into this position?
It makes me very proud. It makes me very proud to be part of this organization and to have been chosen to lead this organization. Even though I'm only 10 days into my new position, I'm certainly not new to the organization. And having led the emergency response for our 2019 flooding event and all the emergency response that we had to implement on the pandemic last year, it's certainly given me and the organization a good taste of what it is to operate in these unusual circumstances. It is a big challenge. I'm very proud of the women and men at OPPD who have just shown the commitment, the passion we have to honor our community, that we have a passion to serve, and that we care for each other. It is an honor and a privilege for me. Thank you.
You had mentioned that you guys are tracking, the possibility of more storms coming through the area. Is it a possibility that we may kind of revert back and lose some of the power that had been restored?
Yes, it is always a possibility. Mother Nature is unpredictable, and we have great meteorologists giving us as much data as they can, but even that data sometimes it's not enough to predict what Mother Nature is going to do. Just the storm that went by about an hour ago, it caused us to lose about 3,000 customers. But at the same time, we were recovering about the same 3,000 customers. These last storm resulted in a net zero gain or loss of outages. Now, it is possible that the storms coming in tonight may result in a net zero, or it may set us back a little bit more. We don't know exactly what those are going to do, and that is one of the reasons why we are bringing in additional crews, just to be ready to make sure that we have enough people tomorrow to continue the work, and very important that we allow our current employees, our current crews, time to rest. The work they're doing is really hard and it's dangerous, and we want to make sure that they are fresh and they can do their job safely.
A follow-up to that would be, where are these extra crews coming from?
They are coming from different places. Of course, the closest, the better, because it takes less time to travel. We have a lot of crews locally from electrical contractors we work with and we have a great relationship with, and they offered their crews. We have some local public power districts here in Nebraska who did not necessarily experience the effects of the storm. We have other sister public power districts who are in similar situation than we are, and they are unable to help us. But for those who were not affected as much, they are sending crews. Again, it's from different parts of Nebraska, central and south central Nebraska.
I want to talk about how public power, that model, how we do care for each other, and how important that is.
That is a fantastic point. So we are public power and we support each other. We have what we call a mutual aid network, where every time there's a problem, every time a utility has a need, we call upon each other. And just like we have sent our crews down to Florida in the past few years when there's been hurricanes, and down to Oklahoma and Texas when they've had issues, we are calling on those individuals as well. We go through an order. Of course, as I said earlier, the ones that are closest come first, just because the travel time is less, but we're casting our net out wide, and it has been amazing to see the response from all those utilities willing and able to respond.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you all for attending. Just a reminder that has been recorded, and the link to this will be made available later online on OPPD.com. Please continue to check OPPD.com, stormandoutage.com, and all of our social channels for just progress as we continue to update. And if you see a crew in your neighborhood, maybe give them a wave and a smile. I know they have appreciated that, and thank you for all who've done that. With that, we'll end today's event, and please reach out to your media contacts if you have any follow-up questions. Thank you.
Thank you.